The 2013 session of the West Virginia legislature ended promptly at midnight this past Saturday, 60 days after it had started, but not before there was a political effort to add sexual orientation to an obscure section of the West Virginia Code. Jury qualification is not something many beyond the legal profession spend much time thinking through, but for those trying to expand today's understanding of sexuality and what constitutes civil rights, it was the perfect political spot to try to get a last-minute change. Delegate Stephen Skinner sponsored an amendment to a bill at the last possible meeting of the House Committee on the Judiciary last Wednesday. 2 days later, a nearly hour-long debate by the full House of Delegates over whether we ought to add a legally and medically undefined term into state code ended in a vote of defeat for the measure by a rather wide margin. If, as Delegate Doug Reynolds from Cabell County tweeted, the vote on the measure was a politically motivated attempt to do a straw poll on efforts to expand the state's laws on non-discrimination, well, we can be sure that this is not the last that we have heard on the issue. In fact, activists will sift through the voting data to determine who will be the targets of an out-of-state political money ahead of the 2014 elections. Well, in total, 215 bills finished legislative action completely during this 60-day session, most of them in the last week of the session. Over 1,800 bills were introduced, leaving a lot of discussion on the committee room floor, including 18 bills that would have protected innocent human life and several efforts to strengthen marriage and religious liberty. Though the formal legislative session is now over, lawmakers now start work this week discussing the state's budget, and then next month will return to Charleston to begin monthly discussions of the various study resolutions in preparation for next year. We appreciate your joining us each week for these updates, and while this marks the last weekly Capitol update of 2013, we'll be back each month to summarize the monthly legislative interim meetings for you and for your family. And of course, you can always track how we are advancing, defending, and equipping West Virginia's families through policy, politics, and preparation by going to our website at familypolicywv.com.